Hi YouTube. I thought as it's now August and really holiday season, this would be a good time to talk about holiday kits, makeup kits, palettes if you will, or small collections that are marketed or are useful for taking away on holiday or for short trips, or even I guess as part of your daily makeup bag to take in your handbag going to work or wherever. Part of my thinking about doing this was kind of provoked because I got a few weeks ago my all-time favourite holiday palette, which I'll show you at the end, by Chanel, that I've really had to stalk the internet for, and it's so really gorgeous. I haven't even used it yet, but to me it's the perfect holiday palette. But I thought before I come to that, which is sitting here in its pouch, I'd show you some of the things that I use a lot when I'm travelling. Not so much just for holiday, because to be brutally honest, when I go on holiday I take pretty much everything but the kitchen sink. But I travel for work a lot, often staying away for a couple of nights, and I like to take then a much smaller makeup bag if I can, because I'm really trying to keep the weight and size of my luggage down. And even when I'm just going away for the day, I travel quite long distances for work on a daily basis, and like to have a complete but small makeup collection with me for touch-ups during the day. So really something that I can carry in a handbag. And I mean, really, you could just take your favourite hold all with small products in, and I do, to be honest, do that quite a lot. And one of my favourite collections, really, that was sold as a collection, but I kind of customise it when I'm travelling so that I can carry everything I need, was sold to me in New York as part of a Laura Mercier collection at Saks. This is the palette, which I'm not that keen on as a palette to look at. You can see that it's the usual kind of metal container, but it's got a fabric top with little buttons in that the sales assistant thought was rather wonderful. The problem with these fabric cases is that they can get very dirty very quickly. And this one's not too bad given that I use it quite a lot, but you can see how the makeup kind of gets on it if you're not very careful. But it's quite a useful general collection, which I have used a lot, because it's got, I guess, two blushes, or I would use this as a blusher and a contouring, and a highlight, and three other eyeshadows, one of which, this one here, you can and I do use to line, and then three lip colours, really kind of glossy colours. So it's a fairly basic palette, reasonably lightweight, not incredibly light. But what was useful about this palette, which is nothing extraordinary, all the different collections have them and you could do much cheaper than Laura Mercier, is it came with this little bag, which again I wasn't that impressed with to begin with, because it's pretty sort of boring colour scheme, navy with a black trim. But it's actually a really useful lightweight bag. It's kind of magnetised at the top, so it grips too. It's quite a good size in that you can pop the palette, which is kind of your basic eye products, and then what sold it for me were the mini brushes which came with it. There's a lip one as well, which I haven't got with me at the moment, which are really good quality brushes. This nice little blusher brush, but with a short handle, and an eye blender, really. Not great for packing on, but great for blending or just touching up, to use with the palette, because a lot of these palettes come with the products, but with very inferior applicators, which I'm not keen on. So by way of example of what I mean, here's one of my Dior palettes. Somebody gave me this. Dior pull these palettes out really for every collection. And the applicators here aren't as bad as in some. You can see again the sort of usual mixture of products. There's a little mirror at the top, there's a highlighter, a blush, 4 nice shadows, and they're covered with this little thing that opens and shuts, which is quite useful because it keeps the powder in, and if it breaks it doesn't go all over the whole palette. So this is quite a well designed palette, but here's what I don't like, and this is so common, one of these little sponge applicators for applying the eye makeup. They're okay, you know, once or twice, but they don't do a brilliant job, and as soon as you start washing them they start fraying and are useless after, you know, a few weeks of use. So I really don't like those. I don't think they do a brilliant job and they don't wear well. And they're typical of the applicators you get in these sets. I mean, you've got a little mini brush here. It's not bad. I mean, I've seen a lot worse. It's quite cute with its little Christian Dior. But, you know, it's not really a good size for applying blush, and you're not going to do a great job with that. And then here's the little lip liner. Not so bad. Lip lining is a bit easier to do a small applicator with. So, I mean, that's very typical of the brushes, or rather the applicators, often foam back, that you get in these small palettes, which I don't like. Whereas these are basically proper brushes, just in a small size, that you can fit very neatly into this bag with a mascara, and I stick in a concealer or one of those little Muji travel pots filled with some of my tinted moisturiser or foundation, so that I can do a complete job on the move. And I have found that set really useful. I do use it a lot. The other high-end brand that I think do these small palettes really well is Bobbi Brown. I mean, Bobbi Brown does most things pretty well. Basic palettes, not particularly just designed for travel. Here's one of my most used ones. It really is tiny and neat. You could literally fit this in a clutch bag to go out at night, and apart from a concealer and maybe mascara, if you apply mascara more than once in a day, I don't tend to, this is all you need. These two lip colours pull back to reveal a matte and a shimmery eyeshadow, and these two glosses give you two highlighters, or a highlighter and another matte shade. Really basic neutrals to touch up your office colours rather than a night out, I suspect. And two lipsticks, two lip glosses, a mirror, filthy dirty because I do use this. The brushes, not bad, not great. This is quite good for applying the dark colour as an eyeliner because it's a nice firm brush. The softer end, you know, you could use it for touch-ups. It's not great, but, you know, it's better than the dreaded sponge applicators. And then you've got a little lip brush here as well. But it's very, very neat. Great, as I say, for work. I often pop that in the bottom of my handbag, or in that little bag from Laura Mercier I've shown you. Fantastic selection. I like this one as well. This is one of the eyeshadow palettes. It's just all the neutrals really you could need, warm toned for me. Very, very neat. Doesn't come with brushes, so you have to take your own brush. Two other Bobbi Brown palettes. These were both limited editions. I do take this one on holiday because they're quite daring colours. Tiny, tiny pans. But the reality is they're very strongly pigmented, and I've used this a lot and hardly touched any of the pans, as you can see already. That's a great, neat little palette again. And then love this lip palette, limited edition last year. These are standard colours that you can get in the permanent collection. These are special edition colours at the bottom, and I really love them. I wish she'd bring some of them out. You can't get them as part of the standard range. They've been really great, kind of the neon shade look. I don't know what it is about Bobbi Brown lipsticks. She just really gets the colour right for so many skin shades. I use that palette a lot. And then just before I come to the Chanel, well, no, I'm going to show you the Chanel because I might run out of time otherwise. This is a limited edition. It was made for the Asian market. Cathay Pacific, I think, sold it on their planes. I had to get it on the internet. But for me, this is the perfect travel palette because it has everything. Huge, great mirror. And then here you have got your blush, your powder, and it's a beautiful embossed powder, concealer down at this end, 2 lipsticks, 2 lip glosses, a number of different eyeshadows. Admittedly, the blue mightn't be the colour that everyone would choose, but it's very pretty summer shade. So a blue and a pink for quite an interesting eye, a highlighter, a nice kind of neutral but slightly shimmery brown that actually is a really nice honey-coloured shade. You can't see it too well there, whoops. And then another dark neutral that you can use as an eyeliner. It's for fair-skinned, not surprisingly, being for the Asian market, so suitable for me. Dreaded sponge applicators here, but at least there are 2 of them, and a little double-ended brush there. But here's the blush brush. How neat is that? So it opens out to actually give a reasonable sized brush for applying blush on the move, and then clips together again like that to fit in. And then here's the real beauty of this little beauty. In the pouch there's even, it's got its own little pocket. Oh, a mini mascara. How brilliant is that? So apart from foundation, you've literally got everything you would need in that one palette, which I think is very, very neat indeed. And when I can bring myself to use it, that will be going in my handbag as a day-to-day palette rather than just a holiday palette. Because on holiday, as I say, I tend to take the kitchen sink. I take all my favourite products as long as I haven't got a weight limit. This is a big box of selection that I've had for a while. I don't always take it, but I mean, if I'm not limited. Smashbox, again, it was, I think, one of their specials. There's just every type of eyeshadow there. I will say that although it's a really pretty colour selection, it does tend towards the shimmers. There are very few matte shades. That's matte down here, that's matte there, and those 2 are matte. All the, oh, there's a matte and there's a matte, but all the rest have, although it's not particularly showing up on screen, quite a lot of shimmer or glitter in them and quite a lot of fallout. But it's still a great palette. In the centre you've got 3 contours and 2 blushes, and they're nice contours actually, I've used them a lot. Lip glosses over here, eyeliners here, really good selection of eyeliner with an applicator there, a brow fixative and brow colours here. So it's all the coloured stuff for the face, and I do use this at home and I do take it on holiday. It's great for experimenting with colours that I wouldn't normally use, especially on my eyes. You've got all the neutrals here, but as I say, with quite a lot of glitter, and then some really gorgeous colours over here. They're showing up really bright actually on screen. They're slightly more muted in real life, but that's a nice box to take on holiday, although it's quite heavy, but hey, who cares? Throw out the shoes, take the makeup. That's what I say. Whatever you're taking on holiday, have a really great one. Bye for now.